really minister on the subject. What was the last chapter I gave you on the ministry of helps? 6. All right. Let's do number 7. Okay. All right, so go with me to page 77. Hello to everybody on Facebook and on YouTube. If you happen to be clicking by, we're in Legacy School of Ministry on Thursday nights. And so I'm covering some highlights for our exam next week. And so if you want to hang around, you can. We'll be on just for a few minutes. All right, on page 77, we want to look at a few highlights to help you prepare. Go with me to page 80, and we'll start there. On page 80. All right. Page 80, second full paragraph. You may not be aware of what pastors who have to row the boat themselves go through. If you could highlight that. You may not be aware of what pastors who have to row the boat themselves go through. Without a without a competent ministry of helps working with them, they become overworked and less effective. I have hurt this church for years by the things that I've done. Sad to say, after the pandemic, right before the pandemic, we moved into schools, which requires a heap load of labor-intensive setup and breakdown. Every single week, 52 out of 52, it's nonstop. And I'm a servant leader, and so I'll get in and get my hands dirty and help to do. And in doing so, I hurt the church. Legacy School of Ministry is the recovery process. The pastors teach the people to do the work of the ministry. They don't do the work of the ministry. And that's like nails on chalkboard to some people. That's the pastor's job. What do you mean the pastor don't do the work of the ministry? That's what we hired you for. And if you read the chapter, that's really the disposition of hundreds, possibly thousands of churches in that mindset. Pastor Chuck just mentioned to me, he's cut the grass here twice in the last month or 5 weeks. Grieves my heart. I've owned a landscape company. There's no way that I could let this prophet of God in his 70s with 50 years of ministry, there's no way that, yes, he's cut the grass here twice. The person that was doing it is not doing it anymore. And before that person was doing it, he was doing it for years. I think for 6 years he cut the grass here. Now, they pay for somebody to cut the grass in the front. But, there's 3 acres on the property, so there's probably a couple acres. And Pastor Carroll, he's got a landscape company. I've had a landscape company. And both he and I are like, yeah, we got to figure this out. And so let me read this statement again, because I really need you all to hear it. You may not be aware of pastors who row the boat themselves go through. Without a competent ministry of helps working with them, they become overworked and less effective. If you don't know this already, you are the competent ministry of helps. You are the solution to the problem. So if you hear us online and it sounds like we're training people on how to use the computer, yes. We're undoing the bad things that we've done. Brother Keith, he used this as an example. What would you think of a mom and dad with 3 teenagers, 17, 15, and 13? Mom and dad get up, get the kids off to school, go to work, come home. Kids are already there. They change out their clothes. Mama starts in the kitchen. She's cleaning the kitchen and getting the dinner and putting the dishes. And Dad puts on his work clothes and goes out and mows the lawn and puts the leaves out on the curb. And then they come in and have dinner with these big old teenage boys and this girl, and they sit down and they eat that dinner. And then they get up from the table and the kids go sit down on the couch and watch TV. And, mama goes to put all the Somebody said out loud, adoption. Them kids getting put up for adoption. Who's at fault, the kids or the parents? Everybody unanimously said it's the parents. And Makita and I, in a figurative, spiritual sense, as the parents of Faith Family Church, we really hurt the church in doing so much. There's no way in the world she should be the only one that knows how to run the back table. It's not hard. You just got to get used to it, right? Just like your job, First time on the job, what do you do? And click, the same way. All right, let's give you highlights and then we'll go home. All right, there's not too many. Go to page 83. So I'm thankful for the Legacy School of Ministry. Page 83, first full paragraph, second sentence. The pastors God envisions have the ministry of helps rowing the boat across the sea for them. At the end of that paragraph, highlight, they have help. Look up at me one more time. Because he just said in the previous, the pastors that are doing the rowing themselves, he's talking about when Jesus got in the boat and said, let us go to the other side. And then he went and slept on a pillow. In some churches, they'd be like, you better wake up. You better wake up. Ain't no way we're going to get to the other side, Jesus. And, old Jesus, he get it. And the disciples are watching him work. Man, that's like, I feel like I've done that. Amen. But then on the contrary, the pastors God envisions have the ministry of helps doing what? Rowing the boat across the sea for them. He talked about in this chapter, man, listen to the honor of this. He and a couple other guys on the usher team said, we're going to go pick up the pastor on Sunday morning so he don't even have to worry about getting through traffic. Do you know that would that bothered people in their church? Me saying that out loud might bother somebody right now. I remember I said it early on that I'm thinking about someday having a driver. I was over in Africa and they just treated me with such honor. Come on. They did what? They treated me with such honor. I couldn't hardly touch anything. Oh, that Pastor Stan, he's getting beyond himself with this ministry of help. We got to keep his feet, got to keep him humble. No. There are ways to show honor. Amen. Okay, I'm almost done. Skip a paragraph, go to the next. When these pastors come to church on Sundays and Wednesdays, they can't wait until the time for the service so they can get up into the podium and preach. They've been in the Word. They have been in prayer. I would take a moment to describe to you all my day, and I spend hours in the Word, and I spend hours in prayer. Amen. I, did a hospital visit today and, some other types of things. But that's what you want for your pastors. You don't want them hours cutting the grass. I was trying to think, because I told my wife, babe, I got to cut the grass. I can't let Pastor Chuck, and she's like, oh, babe, we're trying. So now I'm trying to think, how can I teach people how to use a commercial lawnmower without messing it up? And then schedule our guys to come up here and cut the grass. In my mind, I'm working through that. Because Pastor Chuck, I don't ever want to see him cutting the grass. Like, if he just want to ride around out there, he can, but it won't be to cut the grass because the grass is already cut. If you want to ride around and pray, that's fine. But it won't be because there's a need to cut the grass. I don't know, y'all, but just pray for me. We'll get it. All right, page 84. I'm 2 minutes over time. I do apologize. I'll try to keep my comments now and just get the highlights. Second full paragraph, highlight this. Can you see why the ministry of helps is so important? Did you see how much ministry work Jesus did? In this case, it was necessary for him to take a nap while the disciples rowed the boat across the sea. Keep highlighting. Here's another time when Jesus did his part and the disciples did their part, and a miracle happened as a result. All right, go to page 85. Second full paragraph, right after Ephesians 4:27. Highlight this. We decided that we were not going to give the devil any opportunity to steal the message in our pastor's heart by getting his mind on something else. That's when they went to go pick him up from his house. All right, go to page 87. I'm almost done. Top paragraph, top of the page, 87. Starts with but pastors. Highlight this. Pastors are continuously seeking the will of God for their church. That is so true. Their primary concern is that their people be happy and successful in the perfect will of God. That is so true. All right, page 88. Almost done. Page 88. First full paragraph, right above come to their need. Halfway in the second line. He didn't drive the donkey into town. The disciples led the donkey into town, helping Jesus fulfill his calling and make it to the cross. Go down to page 88. Second from the last paragraph, last sentence on that paragraph. Second to last paragraph on page 88, last sentence, it says, another example of the most important key to church growth. All of these things are another example of the most important key to church growth. Page 89, top of the page, first sentence, the key to the way the church growth ought to function. It's the key to the way the church growth ought to function. I'm glad that we are where we are in terms of our church growth from being in a school to being at 1 o'clock. But I prophesied to you that because we're getting this part in order, there will be growth. All right, let's go to 91. I think this is the last one. Yep, this is the last one. And then I'll let you go home. I'm 6 minutes over time. If you do your part, this is the top of page on 91. Highlight this. If you do your part and bring them to church, then the pastor can do his part, and your friends and loved ones may even end up walking down the aisle in response to the altar call. And then skip the next line. All because you obey God's call to the ministry of helps. Yep. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Cause good in your life. Thank you for helping me. Have a great night.